December 3rd, 1883. Following an arduous 6-day journey from Last Chance, we arrived at a massive depression known as Gregor's Gulch. The day before, we were accosted by a mutant bandito named Juan Esteban Merino and his gang of thugs. He rode a massive crazy charger he called Diablo. He and his men insisted we pay him a road tax to cross his land. As none of us could afford the bribe, we had to take other measures. I used my knowledge of the land, and with a bit of skillful riding, I successfully eluded his men and lifted 5 shards of their darkstone in the process. But Nash and Gracie were not so fortunate. They were tied to Merino's mutant horse and dragged across the desert. After the thugs finished making sport of them, they were thrown from the edge of the gulch, falling over 100 feet into the icy headwaters of the Pichata River. I found them several hours later at the edge of the river in a terrible state. The incident had caused both of them permanent damage, and only time would tell if they would ever be the same, following their encounter with that SOB of the Badlands, Juan Esteban Merino. After spending the morning exploring the region, we came across a vast entrance in the rock face. A series of 6 stone steps led to a stone archway that was adorned with 12 giant skulls. Inside the archway, a massive bronze door stood like a sentinel. It was covered with strange esoteric writing, which none of us could decipher. As Nash lit his lantern, I pushed open the massive door. It gave out an eerie squeak as it moved against the ancient stones. I entered first, followed by Nash, with Gracie close behind. This place was unlike anything that we had seen before. As soon as we entered the chamber, an eerie silence enveloped the area. It felt as though the eyes of the ancients, that had lived here so long ago, were watching our every move.
Hello everyone, thank you for joining me tonight at my channel, and welcome to the Solo Gamers Club. This evening I'll be continuing with my solo campaign of Shadows of Brimstone, using my solitaire variant. This is episode 2 of season 4, and it's entitled The Gulch. Before we begin tonight's episode, I'd like to briefly walk everyone through a few things that I'll be changing during this playthrough. As I've purchased a custom depth track, I've decided to convert the existing track to an initiative track, which I'll use to chart the initiatives of the posse and their opponents. Another change I'm going to be implementing is, instead of tracking the posse's XP and gold separately, I've decided to place all the XP and gold that they collect during the mission into a community pool. I've set aside 2 plastic trays to hold the tokens. At the conclusion of the mission, I'll divide the XP and gold equally amongst the heroes. I've chosen to do this for 2 reasons. First, it will make running the playthrough much easier. Secondly, I think it's a better representation of the experience system, as no adventurer learns in a vacuum. Each member of the posse should gain experience in relation to the group's experiences, and I think this will help to solve the problem of the higher initiative heroes garnering the majority of the XP. Also, I'd like to mention a viewer requested that I post the rules and tables and rumor tokens for the campaign in Word or PowerPoint files so that players can customize the tables to the expansions that they own. I should have done this from the outset, and I've submitted the files for download on the BGG site in the City of the Ancients Files section. I also included an updated travel board that will fall in line with my recent changes to the supply rules. And the last change I'm going to make is that I've decided to resolve any encounter cards randomly without examining them first. The rules as written allow the players to resolve encounters in an order that they choose, but I'm going to resolve the encounters in a random order, as this will make the encounters more exciting for the viewers and for myself while I'm playing. When a map tile has an associated advanced encounter, I'll simply randomize that card in with the other encounters. And also I'm going to list all of the supplements and expansions that I'm going to be using during this series so that the viewers can get an idea of what we're going to be using for the playthrough. The date is December 3rd, 1883, and the posse has arrived at a mysterious canyon complex known as Gregor's Gulch, where they have found an entrance into a subterranean region. Per the mission setup instructions, the posse begins with the standard mine entrance tile. The order will be Nash with an initiative of 5, followed by Gracie, also with an initiative of 5, and finally Eli bringing up the rear with an initiative of 3. We'll begin by making the Hold Back the Darkness roll. All right, we've rolled an 8, so we're good with the depth track. And now each of the heroes will activate in order of their initiative. We'll begin with Nash. Here's Nash's roll for movement. He's fast, so he's going to gain a +1. Roll is a 2, so he has a movement of 3 spaces for this opening turn. Nash will move ahead 3 spaces. And since this is kind of an exploration mission to some extent, I think we'll have Nash do some scavenging. Scavenging is done by rolling 3 dice, and for every 6 that you get as a result, you can draw a scavenge card. Here's Nash's scavenge roll. He has 3 6s. That is absolutely amazing. All right, he's going to draw 3 scavenge cards. All right, here is the first card. We'll give this a cut, and then we'll start. Here's his first of 3 scavenge cards, and it's the Hideous Discovery, 10 XP. Poking around in the shadows, you see something that chills you to the bone. You quickly return to the group, refusing to speak of what you found. Take 3 horror hits that do 2 sanity damage each. All right, so Nash has 3 horror hits. He'll be able to roll his willpower, and for every roll of a 4 or greater, he can stop one of those hits. So we'll make the roll. And he has stopped none of those. That's a cocked die. We'll just put it there. So he's going to take a total of 6 sanity damage. Whoa. And that's going to give him a total of only 4 sanity left. Now, we do start the game with 1 revive token, and we're going to be using the medium threats during this because we're using 3 heroes. All right, we'll move on to the next scavenge card, and that's revealed to be Chilling Dread. What you find in the shadows only confirms the doom that awaits you all. Draw a Growing Dread card and add it to the stack, and that's worth 10 XP. All right, so we're going to add a Growing Dread card to our stack. We don't look at it yet, and that's going to be resolved at the the final battle. Now we can get rid of those if each hero contributes 1 grit. We can discard Growing Dread card at any time before it's going to be resolved. And now we'll resolve our third and final scavenge card. That one is Useful Discovery. Pulling it from the gnarled hand of a dead body, you find something of value in this forsaken place. Draw a gear card, and it's worth 10 XP. And the gear card is revealed to be a Holy Charm. Gear, Charm, Holy. Discard this item to prevent all damage just done to you by demon or undead enemies, or discard this item to re-roll any single die, adding +1 to the roll. Has a value of $350. Alright, that's a pretty good find, but that came at quite a cost. We'll add that to Nash's backpack, and we'll continue on with the turn. So with those scavenge cards, Nash earned a total of 30 XP, and we'll add that to the community pool. Now with the revised rules, a posse of 3 can now scavenge each tile twice. So we'll mark a scavenge marker for Nash's successful scavenge, and we'll move on now to Gracie's turn. Gracie also has the ability Fast, so she'll be adding 1 to her movement roll. Rolls a 3, and that's modified to a 4. And I think I'll move Gracie up 1, 2, 3. I don't want to block out the movement of Eli. And I want to keep Gracie near Nash because she has that Comforting Presence ability. At the end of the turn, she can heal 1 wound or sanity damage from each other adjacent hero. So we'll maybe start working on some of that damage, sanity damage that Nash took earlier. Alright, Gracie is not going to scavenge, so that's going to end her turn, and we'll move on now to Eli, and he's going to make a roll for movement. And here's Eli's roll. He rolls a 5. Eli will move forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright. And I think Eli will make a scavenge roll. And he has no 6s. Alright, that is going to end the round. And we'll start out a new round by holding back the darkness. I think before we do that though, Gracie is going to use her Comforting Presence, and that's going to allow Nash to heal 1 point of sanity damage. And that's going to award the party 5 XP for Gracie's healing. And now we'll hold back the darkness. And that roll is a 3, so that we failed that. And we're going to go up to the first stage of darkness, that's 1. Alright, now we're going to activate in order, and we're going to start with Nash. Alright, Nash will roll for movement. He's fast, so he's going to gain +1. He rolls a 6, so that's going to be modified to a 7. And I think he's going to move up, and he's going to take a look down the passage. So we'll have him move 1, 2, and 3, and then he's going to take a look. So we're going to draw a map card. And he sees a boiler room. Has an advanced encounter called Steam Clouds. Alright, so we've placed the boiler room along with the advanced encounter card, and we're going to place an exploration token on that space. And that's going to end Nash's activation. We'll move on to Gracie. Gracie's up, and she's going to make a roll for movement. And she is also fast. She rolls a 1. Alright, that's going to get her a grit token, which incidentally, all of the heroes have no grit. They spent that while they were on the road during overland movement. Alright, that gives Gracie a total of 2 movement points, and we'll have her just move up 2. And I think rather than scavenge at this point, I'm just going to have her turn end, and we'll move on to Eli, and he's going to activate for movement. Eli will make a roll for movement. He rolls a 3. I think Eli is just going to move up one space, and we could have him scavenge, but I think we're going to see what this exploration token is first. So that'll end his activation. We'll move on now to the exploration phase. We're going to reveal that exploration token. And that's revealed to be an encounter. It is the first clue, and this room is going to have 3 doorways. All right, so we're going to add another encounter card to those that we have to resolve. And finding the first clue, it says in our mission sheet, when the heroes uncover the first clue icon, they find evidence that supports Dr. Gruber's claims. Mission also has a special rule called Evidence of the Vrilia. When the posse is in a location with a clue icon, a hero may look for evidence of the Vrilia in place of searching. Make a combined Lore 6 and Luck 6 plus test. If you gain 3 or more successes, gain a relic token for free. All right, so we're going to begin by resolving our encounter cards. So I'm going to just randomize those 2 cards, and we're going to resolve those in the order that they come out rather than planning out how we're going to resolve them. I think this will be more exciting. Okay, here is the first encounter. It's called Daylight. Encounter Environment Canyon. Up ahead, you can see the bright glow of daylight pouring into the dark mine. It looks to be an exit leading outside. Place a mine exit gate end cap on one random exit of this map tile, replacing any other end cap or gate that might be there. This works the same in every way as a gate to another world, except that it always leads to the canyons. When placing the first canyon map tile on the other side of the gate, start with the mine entrance gate end cap. All right. Well, we'll make a roll using the boiler room card to determine which of the doors is going to have that canyon opening. Here's the roll. Roll is a 5, so that's going to be this one. All right. All right, I've adjusted the map. We've set up the canyon exit. Now, technically, the rules say that there's no gates. No gates can be found in this mission. Anytime a gate would be placed, place a door instead. But this isn't a gate to another world. This is, I mean, technically it is, but this is a canyon one. So we'll set it up. I don't know if we're going to be going there, but we'll set it up anyway. And then here's our second encounter card, and that's called Steam Clouds. Encounter Environment Visibility. The room is filled with thick, hot steam pouring out of rusty, broken pipes, running along the walls and floor. It's hard to see 3 feet in front of you, let alone who or what might be in the room with you. Any model on this map tile, or targeting a model in this map tile, ranged attacks only hit on rolls of 6+, and those ranged attacks may not get critical hits. Also, roll a d6. On a roll of 1 or 2, something is in the room with you. Attack. Draw a threat card. Remains in play. All right, we're going to roll the die and find out. On a 1 or 2, we're going to have an attack. That's a cocked die. And we rolled a 4, so we're in good shape. All right. All right, we're going to leave the Steam Clouds card here as a reminder about those changes to ranged attacks, and we're going to place this clue token in by our depth track, and that will tell us that we've got our first clue. We're looking for one more clue now. All right, that's going to end the round, and we'll begin with another Hold Back the Darkness roll. All right, we haven't been doing too well on the Hold Back the Darkness. Hopefully we can change that. Here's the roll. Roll is a 12, and that's doubles, and that's going to be a mine event. So instead of moving up the darkness, we're going to read the depth event for 6. That reads Stubborn Resolve. This place is horrible and unforgiving, but you're not about to give up without a fight. Each hero may immediately heal D6 wounds or sanity, any mix, or recover 1 grit. KO'd heroes are immediately recover, rolling for their injury and madness, and healing 2d6 wounds or sanity, any mix, as normal for recovering. All right. Well, the only hero that has any damage is Nash. He's holding 5 sanity damage right now. So I think the other 2 characters will take a grit token. Nash will roll to see if he can reduce some of that sanity damage. We'll make that d6 roll for Nash. And he rolls a 5, so he's able to heal all of that sanity damage. That is great. All right, before we hold back our darkness, we did find a room, so we're going to move the posse marker up to 15. And we also earned 5 XP for the looking through the door where we found this new room. So we'll add 5 XP to our total. And now we'll hold back the darkness. Roll is a 6, we failed that, so we're going to move up 1 on the scale, and then blood splatter there means we're going to have to draw a darkness card. And the darkness card is revealed to be Hunted Through the Void. Darkness and Void Hounds. Leaping out from another dimension to attack, a vicious pack of Void Hounds savagely tears at you before phasing back out of reality. Every hero takes 3 horror hits. 1 random hero also takes 6 hits that do 2 damage each. All right, we'll start with the horror hits. Each hero is going to take 3 horror hits. We'll begin with Eli. He has a willpower of 4, so that will allow him to roll 3 dice, and on any results of 4 or greater, he can forego those horror hits. So here's Eli's roll. And he has no successes, so he's going to take the full bear of that, and that's going to be 3 horror hits on Eli. Next, we're going to check Nash, and he also has a willpower of 4, so we'll roll the dice for that. And he has 1 success, so he's going to take 2 horror hits. And we've placed 2 sanity damage on Nash. Now we'll check Gracie. Gracie has a willpower also of 4. And here's her roll. And she managed to stop 1 of them. 2 got through, so she'll also take 2 sanity damage. Now we have to select a random hero, and they're going to take 6 hits that do 2 damage each. So we've got our hero tokens here. I'll just randomize those, and we'll find out who is going to be the target. And it's going to be Nash. All right. Nash has a defense of 4+, so he'll be able to roll 6 dice, 1 for each of those hits, and hopefully he can stop these. I'm going to switch to another set of dice, and we'll make the roll. All right, that time, Nash was able to stop 3 of the 6, but 3 are going to get through. 3 times 2, he's going to take 6 wounds. And that places Nash at 6 of his 7 possible wounds. He took some permanent damage with that meeting with the Bandito. So that reduced his health. He's only got 1 point of health remaining before he would be KO'd. All right, so that is going to complete the darkness card, and now we're going to activate in order, and we're going to begin with Nash. All right, Nash is going to roll for movement. He's fast, so he gains +1. Rolls a 3, and that's modified to a 4. And I think rather than going into the canyons, we're going to keep pursuing this mission that we have, so we want to try to find that second clue token, preferably in the standard mines. So I think Nash is going to head towards the north. He's going to move 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, he's going to stop there. I'm not going to be doing any scavenging with Nash till we can heal him up a bit. And next up now is going to be Gracie. So we'll activate Gracie for movement. She is also fast. Roll is a 1. Well, she's already at maximum grit, so I think what we'll do is we'll use the grit that she just got to add a bonus to her movement. So she's fast, she's going to gain 1, so she would be able to move 2 spaces. And then an additional d6 worth of movement because she's spending that new grit. And that's a 3, so we'll have her move 1, 2, and 3. She's adjacent now to Nash, so she'll be able to use her comforting presence. Now we're going to move on to Eli, and he's going to roll for movement. Rolls a 5. All right. I think he's going to move 1, 2, 3. And we're not going to look down that passage quite yet. I think what we're going to do is Eli is going to use his Home Remedies ability. It says use a grit to heal d6 wounds from yourself or another hero on your map tile. So he's going to spend that grit that he has, and that will allow Nash to heal d6 wounds. Here's the roll. And he rolled a 2, so that will heal 2 wounds for Nash. That moves him down to a total of 4 wounds. And now, as this is the end of the turn, Gracie's going to use her comforting presence, and she's going to be able to heal 1 wound or sanity damage from each other adjacent hero. So we're going to have Eli will heal 1 sanity damage, and Nash is going to heal a wound. So Nash is at 3 wounds out of 7 health, 2 sanity damage out of 10. Eli is at 2 sanity damage out of 10, and Gracie is 2 sanity damage out of 14. All right, that's going to complete the round, and we're going to do a hold back the darkness roll. Okay, here's the roll. Roll is a 3. We're doing terrible on holding back the darkness. That's going to raise that up to 3 now. So, not much we can do about that. All right, we're going to start a new turn, and I think we're going to begin with Nash. Nash is going to make a roll for movement, and he rolls a 5. He's going to move straight ahead, and then he's going to take a look down the passage. So we'll move Nash in there, and then we're going to draw a map tile card and find out what he sees. And Nash sees an excavation chamber. It has an advanced encounter called Ancient Ruins. All right, we'll update the map. All right, we've placed the excavation chamber, and it's going to give us this Ancient Ruins advanced encounter. Place a exploration token there, and that's going to end Nash's turn. Nash is going to earn 5 XP for looking through the door. And incidentally, Gracie did 2 healings last turn, one for Eli and one for Nash, so that will give an additional 10 XP for the 5 XP for each of her healings. That will complete Nash's turn, and we'll move on now to Gracie as the next highest initiative. And Gracie will roll for movement. She rolls a 3, and with her fast ability, that becomes a 4. I think all she's going to do is just move in behind Nash, and she's going to wait for Eli to move up, and then we'll find out what that exploration token is. And now Eli is going to activate. We'll have him roll for movement. He rolls a 6. I think he's just going to move up 1 space. We'll do no scavenging, and then we're going to find out what that exploration token is. And that's going to complete all of our activations. And now we're going to do our exploration. We'll find out what that exploration token is. If that's another clue token, we will have found our objective room. And that is revealed to be, it is a clue token. All right, so that is our objective room. All right. And the objective rules read, when they uncover the second clue icon, they have found a substantial deposit of darkstone. Ignore any attacks or encounters listed on the final exploration token. Also ignore any gate or door icons on the token, as the darkstone chamber has no exits. All right. Although the rules on the mission state that we're supposed to ignore any attacks or encounters listed on the final exploration token, we do have that advanced encounter, though, from the excavation chamber, Ancient Ruins, so we are going to be playing that. And then it says, once we find our objective room, we're supposed to make a roll on the Void High Threat table and resolve the combat. When no enemy models remain in the chamber, the mission is concluded. All right. Before we reveal that threat, we're going to resolve this encounter. That's entitled Ancient Ruins. Encounter Environment Ancient. The room is a makeshift dig site. An excavation has uncovered ancient ruins of a massive alien statue buried for millennia in the earth. All heroes will have to make a Lore 6+ test. If successful, gain 40 XP for each 6+ rolled as you examine the ruins. Then, if at least one hero passed the test, they realize the greater ramifications of what they have discovered. Immediately draw and play a growing dread card. Do not add it to the stack. All right. Well, we'll begin by making the Lore 6+ test. We'll start with Eli. His lore is a 4. So he'll be able to roll 4 dice for the test. Okay, here is his roll. And he has no successes. He has no grit currently available. So he's failed that. We'll move on now to Nash. Nash has a lore of 3. He'll be able to make a 3 dice roll test. Okay, here is his roll. He has no successes. He has no grit, so he can't re-roll that either. Okay, finally we'll move on now to Gracie. Gracie has a lore of 2. And she has 2 grit tokens. Okay, here's her roll. And that's a cock die. We'll re-roll that one. Another cock die. She has a 6, so she's successful. That's going to earn her 40 XP. Now, since at least one of them passed, we don't have to draw that growing dread card. That's great. And now we're going to make our roll on the Void High Threat table. I'll bring that table up on the screen. We're going to be rolling a D8 to find out what we have to face here. So we'll make the roll. Roll is a 5. And the 5 reveals there's going to be 6 Hellbats, 2 peril die of Hungry Dead, and 3 corpse piles. Whoa. All right, I'm going to lay those creatures out. And now we're going to roll 2 peril die to find out how many Hungry Dead we'll be facing. And the roll is a total of 9, so we'll have 9 Hungry Dead. All right, the models have been laid out in their checkerboard patterns. We start with the lowest initiative creatures, moving up to the higher initiative creatures, and then filling in the intermittent spaces as we run out of room. So we're going to have 3 corpse piles in the back, and then we're going to have our Hungry Dead intermixed with the Hellbats. This is one congested room, I'll have to say. All right, before we begin moving to our fight rounds, we have to resolve our growing dread card that we acquired. earlier in the mission. All right, I've decided to get out my old initiative board that I made a while back. I thought that this was too big, but it appears that that other initiative track I was going to use is a little too small. So this way I've got more room to put my initiative markers that I made and be able to see this a little bit more clearly. I'll bring the monster cards for each of the groups of monsters that we're going to be facing: the corpse pile, the hungry dead, and the hellbats. I've placed them on the initiative track in order. So the hellbats will be going first, followed by Nash and Gracie, and then Eli, the hungry dead, and then finally the corpse piles would go. Now this battle is going to present some interesting tactical problems. If you remember, this room that we had here, the boiler room, it's got steam clouds. So in this case, any model on this map tile or targeting a model on the map tile, ranged attacks only hit on a 6+. So that means that Gracie, she's really not going to be able to use her holdout pistol too effectively, or her boot knife. So we either have to push into the room somehow to be able to get all three of our characters onto that tile, or we can do a retreat and actually go back to the entrance tile and battle it out there. I'm going to have to see how this goes. We have to resolve a growing dread card, and then we'll be able to start our battle. We do have one revive token, which is great. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to probably reveal the growing dread card, and then I'm going to end the video here. I'm going to study this a little more closely on the tactical options that I'm going to have. So we'll reveal that growing dread card, see what that is. And that is, it's too late. Surrounded by evil, you begin to fear that your time has run out. Until the end of the adventure, all enemy hits and horror hits do +1 damage each, or +2 damage if the hero posse marker is below the darkness marker on the depth track. Well, we're not in a situation like that, at least. That's good. But they are going to be doing +1 damage for enemy hits and horror hits. All right. So I'm going to close out the video here, and we're going to regroup in episode 3 with this battle of the excavation chamber. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Solo Gamers Club. I hope you're enjoying this campaign playthrough, and I hope to see you again in our next episode. Thanks for watching, and happy trails.